Welcome back to Triggered, everyone. I have a very special guest today, my very good friend, Arianny Celeste. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. If you guys already know, Arianny Celeste, I mean, the UFC ring girl. She's been a ring girl for over 15 years. UFC, MMA. If you don't follow MMA and UFC, you're not even a follower of mine. So welcome, Arianny. So she's a very good friend of mine, and we've been friends for about like 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Flew by.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Like, we've been through several different phases in life together, like, which was really cool. We're obviously both moms now.
Hustling, partying, mom life,
like all of the levels.
Good transition.
Yeah. So it's really cool that I think it's really special to me that we've been through all these different levels together, because I have some friendships where it was like, okay, the party, and then they just veered off, and I was like, oh, the hustler, and she veered off in a direction. You and I have like been solid through each of these like solid parts of our life.
Yeah.
So I met you in LA. I was like out there like a little puppy that didn't know where it was or what it was doing. And it was crazy because like you guys know I came from nursing. I came from kind of like a little more of a sheltered life. Arianny was born and raised in Vegas. She's been in the spotlight like since like 21 or so, always like thriving in the limelight. And I'm out here and I'm like, oh my God, it's Arianny Celeste. Maybe I can like meet her, or maybe I can like be friends with her. But I was like super intimidated by you at first. I was like, damn, this girl, she's like the lead like UFC ring girl. She's hot as shit. She's a fitness model. She's a fashion model. Like, how do I? And she is very, savage. So you guys got to watch out.
I have a savage face.
Yes, she has that like don't fuck with me face. And I was like, damn, I can't fuck with her. But no, like,
but I'm kind of nice sometimes.
You actually are. She is like low key. If you get invited into the circle, like you're like legit. If you can make it in, so I made it in, but not everyone else. But yeah, it was like 6 years ago. I'm in LA. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. It was like, I noticed it was just, LA was such a weird time for me, because I went there and I'm like starstruck by people. I'm like, we're at these like launch parties, and I see you at all these launch parties, and here everyone's like, oh my God, it's Arianny. And you just were different. You stood out different to me than other people, because like I met some celebrity types, or maybe like social media stars, and like these people you run into in kind of the industry. And like the first vibe I got with other people was more like they're chasing fame. They're very like shallow. They want to name drop. They're competitive, and they're not like connecting at all. And so I witnessed that with a lot of people. And then with you, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm getting in this circle. And you're just so different. Like, I don't know, you connect, you have genuine friends, and you had well more than enough friends. You didn't need me, but you still brought me in. And it was kind of cool to see you like be like, hey, okay, I'll let you into this. I'll kind of teach you the ropes. Like, this is how you hustle. This is how you get brands. Like, this is how you elevate yourself, And
well, you already had your hustle too. And I think we're both in LA kind of the same way, but I was even though I was out there, I was very like protective of myself and my energy and my time. And even though I was hustling and I was in it, but I was able to take a step back too, and like have my own little bubble of good people. And I think that's what kept me sane, because you kind of get lost in LA. And
LA is crazy, dude. It really is. It's like, when I was there, I was so consumed by, okay, you have to look better, you have to be better, you have to compete with everyone. And even at a status which you organically grew your following from, UFC modeling and everything to over 3 million followers organically. I did grow, but I really kind of pushed my growth. Like, I was like sharing with everybody and like collabing with everybody. And so when I saw that, I was like, dang, like, I don't know, that's a big level of accomplishment. And I noticed just with other people, they were all about like who could have more numbers, who could meet more people. And you weren't like that. You were just like, okay, no, like there's a level of hustle. There's a level of like social media and like, getting your sponsorships and all that. But there's also a level of like genuineness. And like you were very protective of that. Yes. And your circle of people were very genuine. And I was like, oh, this is like a little pocket of like sanity in LA. And I needed that, because that you do get lost there. You get lost in like the fame and the name dropping and whose party are you at, who's there, what clothes is everyone wearing. And so I don't know, I just wanted people to see that side of you, because I don't know, I think some people will see like what they think is a celebrity or a star and not know that there's real substance there, and that there are people that can, they can drive a Range Rover, but they can still have like a really pure heart. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
You know, like it's funny. I just really, that was our part of our life. So you could see us hustling, and you could see her always inviting me over to create content and be like, okay, these are the brands that I work with. This is how you hustle. This is how you do your deals. And I didn't really know, like, because there was these other girls that we would be around, and they would kind of be like, really
competition.
Just competition. Yeah. They would devalue us, like, because they would want just free shit instead of like understanding that they have a level, you know, if they have a look, if they can brand themselves. Like, I feel like you were one of those that understood, I can brand myself, you know, like I have a look, I can, you know, I have a demand, I have a value, and you earned that and you required it. And I saw brands come to you for that. You know, you were at Revolve, you're at Coachella, like you're always like hustling. And I was just like, okay, that's what I need to do. I need to stay hustling and networking, but also know that you have a value in a brand. And if you devalue that, you're devaluing yourself, and you're really going to not succeed as well. So yeah,
for sure. I think the girls who take free stuff are really like, they're really making it hard for us here. So can you stop doing that?
You guys got to stop doing it. And the thing is, like, you're not, like, if you're really doing all of that for free things, like you're worth something way more. And everybody that is, you know, whatever kind of influencing you like to do, it could be fitness, it could be fashion, it could be, you know, being real, whatever you want to do, just know your worth and like target that.
Know your worth and add tax.
I love that. Yes.
I love that saying.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, give us more tips and tricks on how, okay, yes, you were elevated and you used your strategic position of where you were in your industry, but you didn't let that define you. You found other ways to pivot. In what way do you feel like you were able to pivot your hustle or your businesses, or even like now, like you own multiple real estates? Like, how are you able to do that?
Well, while I was in LA, especially, now I've slowed down a little bit, obviously, because I have a son. And in LA, I took every job and I ran with it. I don't think I said no to anything, even if it was a rate that I wasn't happy with. I was like, oh, let me try for a little bit more. And maybe they didn't meet me at that number. They would meet me in the middle. So I was still getting paid, and I was still not doing things for free. So when I saw the fame, not that I wanted fame, but when I saw the notoriety and the popularity that I got with the UFC, I was like, okay, I can do something with this. Like, I grew up on watching the girls of Playboy and FHM and Maxim, and they had like calendars and their merchandise. And I was like, well, I'm part of the UFC now. So why can't I do that for myself? So I found somewhat genuine people to work with and help me build that. And I had managers also that were not that great, that like took money from me and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of the time I was talking to brands on my own behalf, but acting like I was my
your own manager, because you had to.
She's not available this day, but you know, it kept me like somewhat protected from, like, because you never know if this brand really wants to work with you, or they just want to get to know you for whatever reason.
What's the motive?
Or they're just wasting your time. So yeah, I was talking to people a lot on my own behalf for a while.
Yeah, because she's savage. She's her own manager. You even know you're dealing with it, and she's still savage about it. Yeah. You know, that's what I noticed about you, is that you really just kept elevating, and you never, like, to you, no wasn't like a failure. Like, if, you know, you tried this brand or this, you know, you tried different apps, you had fitness apps and things like that, and you never just stopped. You're like, I'm just going to keep pivoting. And that's, I think it's scary as not just modeling, but as a business owner, to feel like no or a failure is you're done. You're just like, okay, that failed, never mind. And you kind of just like give up on your hustle. Like, you're just like constantly pivoting. Why don't you have a fear? Like, what did you have a mentor? Did you just see the value in networking? Like, did you enjoy being your own boss? Like, what made you? Like,
I think a little bit of everything. I've always been very independent. As a young girl, I wanted to make my own money, have my own job. When I was 16, I got my own car, paid for it. Like, it was always like, it felt good to be able to provide for myself. Because even if my parents couldn't buy me this or that, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to earn enough money to like buy it for myself. So I've always been that way. And also, to be honest, like the relationships I was in throughout those years of being popular and being on the cover of this magazine, like, they kind of triggered me.
She's triggered. Woo! We got it.
Kind of pushed me to want to be this hyper independent woman, so that I never had to worry about like taking care of myself, because I had to take care of myself.
In what ways? Without getting into too many details, why did these relationships trigger you to want to be independent? Did they make you feel like you weren't valuable, or what did they do to you to make
Yeah.
you feel that way?
They made me feel like I wasn't valuable, and they made me feel like I needed certain things to be valuable. Like I need this certain shoe or purse or house or car in order for people to think that I'm
Like special.
special, it girl, whatnot. And I was like, okay, well, if I can't rely on them to provide that kind of life for me, that kind of lifestyle, then I'm going to provide it for myself.
Right. And you have, and you do.
Yeah.
She like, guys, I'm actually looking up to her because I really want to do the real estate, and she's you own like 4 properties or 5. You own 5 at one point, right? And now we just got back from her Airbnb in Puerto Vallarta, in Mexico. It's
Look
amazing.
it up on my Instagram.
Check out her Instagram. Guys, you could stay in Arianny's condo.
Yeah.
You know, don't be creepy, but she has a beautiful, beautiful place. It's right by the marina. It's we got to go back. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, so she's doing real estate. Like you're really growing yourself, because the thing is, some people I really noticed in this industry relied heavily on whatever they were getting, right? The sponsorship at the time, which we've seen, they kind of come and go, you know.
Go in, they blow the money on the car or the bag or the shoe. And I didn't, well, I did it to an extent. I bought some things, but then I was gifted a lot. So
send gifts here. She has an Amazon wish list.
But then I was 23 years old, and I saw my aunt doing real estate, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should invest into a home. And I bought my first home at 23 years old. And obviously it was a lot different then, but
I bought my first condo at 23.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
So I was like, okay, what's something that's safe, that's going to build money and equity over time? Real estate. It may not make me all the money in the world right away, but it's something that is safe that I could set up for myself, my future, my babies.
For sure. And you thought of that at 23.
Yeah.
And now you have Raiden, and you're like, listen, Raiden, we got properties to choose from. We got lots of destinations and passive income coming in. Yeah. That's what I look up to, is that like, you didn't get lost in the industry. You didn't let it define you. You didn't even let it rule you. You're like, you guys can invite me to these parties, but I'm also hustling my own shit. I'm making my own money. I don't rely on you. And I noticed at points in my career, at least, I felt like I was at points when I wasn't elevating and I wasn't thinking long term, thinking about my future. I was just like, man, I can only rely on the paycheck that these people give me. Like, I only get this monthly income. And obviously now we have kids, and it's like, that's not going to fly. Yeah. So it's good that you had the foresight at 23. I knew I wanted to invest at 23. I think that year was because Obama had a stimulus package, and there's something about you get like $8,000 back from the government if you instead of renting, you buy. So I was kind of lucky. You know, my real estate agent got me on that one. But yeah, no, it's now I'm at the point too where I'm like, everything, I'm thinking more generational wealth, not like my life right now. Like, is Ari gonna have a future? Is she gonna have something to invest in? So yeah, that's amazing. You could do that for Raiden. So we have our party life. You could have found us at, Coachella in LA in 2018, 2019. EDC. You could have seen us there. We had our party life, and then like quarantine happened. I think I ended up moving to Vegas before you did. You were still in LA. And then I had a baby. We had our babies like a year apart. So like pregnant kind of back to back. Our babies are best friends now, little Raiden and Aria. Yeah. So and cute. So we had this other parallel. Now we're on the mom journey together, and we're doing our industry stuff, and we still got to create our content, work for our companies, and be pregnant or have the baby. Like how did that impact your life? Because, obviously you had the UFC, you had to take a little bit of time off from UFC, but you were able to like get back pretty quickly after you had Raiden. So how did that impact your life really? Or how did you decide, you know what, this is absolutely what I want to do. I want to be a mom.
Well, I've always wanted to be a mom, but I was never ready. I don't think you're ever ready to have a kid, especially when you're in this industry. You're like, oh, what are people going to think? How's my body's going to change? Blah, blah, blah. So all this anxiety pulls in your head. So I had that, but I did have a longing to have a baby, and it was almost like the biological clock in you was like, I was like, oh, listen, I want a baby. Then all of a sudden I was pregnant. So I was like, okay. And I had already did my thing in Los Angeles. I feel like I thrived there. I feel like I did every job that I could, and it was time for me to move on and start this new chapter. So that's when I decided to move to Vegas, where all my family is, just to have that support and love and have my baby around them. So I think it was the best move for me. It was definitely nerve-wracking and a lot of anxiety. What are people going to think? But I want to say it was probably one of the times I felt my most beautiful and loved.
I love that. Did you hear that, guys? Arianny Celeste felt her most beautiful pregnant, and she's pretty beautiful, I will say. Face, body. No, it is. It's very crazy how stunning you were, but like how women are pregnant.
Yeah.
And even I was shocked at how I felt about myself pregnant. Like you have all these anxieties, oh, we're going to get too fat, or like you just really don't think you're going to be confident with yourself, but it's a beautiful process. And
I even started my fan page, my OnlyFans.
Oh, you did?
When I was pregnant. Yeah.
I love that.
I announced on there. So I was like, okay, like everybody's loving me, even like,
oh my God, I love that. Look at her. She was her most beautiful, her most gorgeous, and her OnlyFans took off when she was pregnant. That's amazing. And if you guys haven't already, check out her photos on her Instagram, because her pregnancy photos out in the desert with a gold crown, and they were stunning. You have to see them, or you can even find them online. But yeah, it's a very beautiful time too. And okay, so then you have Raiden, and now you're a new mama. And you're trying to figure out, do I go back to UFC? Like, did you struggle with postpartum? Did you struggle with like anything?
Yeah, I did have postpartum. I think that because I've always been the tough chick, you know, I didn't want anyone to know what I was going through. So I didn't really talk about it until like it was done and over with. And I remember sometimes I would be literally like so tired in the bathroom when I had just like 5 minutes to myself, just bawling, because I was just like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
But that time passes so fast. I actually wish I could go back.
Really?
To that time.
Really?
Yeah, because now he's like a teenager. He's like a 2-year-old teenager.
He is.
So
yes. That's so
but
funny.
yeah, it just flies by, and I wish that I knew how fast it goes.
Like the baby face, that little tiny infant face.
Yeah, because I was so concerned, like, okay, I gotta go back to work. I gotta like get my body back. I gotta like, you know, get that all title the pressure of, and it was all pressure from myself. It wasn't really pressure from anybody else. It was just like, you know, I got to go back to that girl that I am and was for so long. But I feel like taking a step back now, I just wish I would have taken the time to really just, and not that it's that I wasn't in it.
How soon back were you back, like at UFC and stuff? After
3 months after.
That's like regressive.
In a bikini.
Yeah, and she looks stunning in it too. Oh, she still is stunning. Thank you. But that is a lot of pressure. I don't think I even left the house at 3 months, let alone on a stage like in front of millions of people. I lived in a nursing bra, like the most hideous one you can find on Amazon. Yeah, like too. Your boobies are flapping in and out. Like I thought I would never be sexy again. Like that was just like, yep, never sexy again. I'll just live in sweatpants and leak on myself. That's. But yeah, so now that you've gone through that, and you've done all the stages, and Raiden is 2 now, and so. Like, what do you have to tell mamas? Because they are so afraid of this time. They're afraid of the postpartum. This like terrifies them, that they're not getting their bodies back, and losing themselves, losing their life, like all these societal pressures. Like, what would you tell that girl that's having all those fears? And now that you're a mom and you're like, okay, no, I can never live life without Raiden.
I would tell her that obviously, you know, it changes your life forever, but it's the best love that you'll ever feel in your life. And you're never going to feel love the way that you do with your baby. It's just a different kind of love, and it's so worth it. And your body's going to bounce back. As long as you like take care of yourself the way that you took care of yourself before, you should be fine. And everyone has postpartum, even if they act like they don't.
Even the hottest
most women do.
Models have it. So yeah, I think but it's also like it's a hormonal journey on top.
It's a hormonal thing.
Yeah. So it doesn't even matter if you look at a girl and you're like, oh, well, she can't have postpartum because she's so-and-so and she has a perfect body or perfect face. It's just mentally, we still go through it. Like mentally, emotionally, hormonally, it's just, you can't really avoid it's like this, like the lowest period you've ever had in your life where you're just sobbing for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it is beautiful. And I agree with that too. Like at that time, you know, it's like 3 months, but 3 months, like day after day, do seem like a long time. And then you get your, you know, you slowly get your body back, and then you slowly get your social life back, and then you slowly start to get into a groove with work and stuff like that. And then you're like, okay, I can be me again. You know, I do think there are women that get lost in, maybe they didn't have the intention to be themselves and have baby life, or be a mom and have work or whatever. And so some of them might get lost in that prolongs their postpartum depression because now they lost themselves.
Yeah.
So maybe there's like strategies to do that. But for me, I had to get back in the gym. I had to, even when I had guilt, I would have mommy guilt about leaving the baby or going to the gym.
Yeah.
I even had guilt about like going to the store, going anywhere the baby wasn't. It's like I had mommy guilt. So it's kind of just knowing that that's like, I guess that's an intuitive thing we're supposed to have just so that we'll keep taking care of our baby. But it's not like a thing you should just let you not be yourself. Like if you want to have girls' nights, you should have them. If you want to start to take care of yourself, and like I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to dress up. Like the idea of even putting makeup on felt very like overwhelming. But I remember the day that I did it, and I did it for no reason. Like I wasn't going anywhere. I just wanted to feel cute for a second in the mirror. And I did. I was like, oh my God, I feel like amazing. Like I would tell women, if you have nowhere to go or you have no time, just freaking do it for you. Do makeup and take a TikTok or video or picture and be like, okay, now I can go back into my robe.
Yeah.
Because you just need to feel beautiful again. You need to feel special, and you need to feel you, and not just, I think you are a milk machine, but that's not the only thing you are.
And I think you have like also us having this big social media presence. Like you have the pressure of, oh, are you being a good mom? Because if you're going to the gym, you're not a good mom. No, if you're unhappy with yourself and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of another human and give them that beautiful, happy, energetic energy that the baby deserves. So you have to take care of yourself first and foremost.
For sure.
Kind of like when you're on an airplane and they give you the thing first, then you get it to the kid.
Yeah. Yes, the airplane thing, exactly. Oxygen on you before oxygen on them. That's a good point. I forgot about that actually. That's another stress. That's another added societal pressure was when I would post, I'm getting back in shape. You get the hate for not getting back in shape, and then you get the hate for getting back in shape because it's like, oh, well, you wouldn't be able to do that if you're home with your baby. You wouldn't, like what? She actually has a home gym. Like I have a home gym. You can buy weights at home. You can get a Peloton at home. Like you can get a treadmill. You can even walk outside. I did sprints outside. The first thing I ever did with baby was sprints outside with the stroller. Like Aria would be in the stroller and she'd be napping, and I was still doing it. And I know that you would often work out. Even to this day, you work out when Raiden takes his nap.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're abandoning your child to go take care of yourself. That's not actually what's happening. But yeah, you're right. Society.
But there's a lot of people that don't do it for themselves, and then they get mad at you for doing it. And it's like, you can't win. So might as well make yourself happy.
Exactly. Facts. If you want it, you go get it, and don't judge other people that have it. So that's another parallel journey. Our babies, we take our babies on play dates. They're like obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
We're like low key setting them up. We're like, you're on a date. We're like, you're going to be arranged marriage. But they're so sweet. But yeah, that's one of our parallel paths. And then we have another parallel path that I find very special to me. And that is that you've been a very pivotal person to me in terms of my healing journey. So you told me, thank you. You told me back in LA when I was like a dumb, like little, oh my God, look at all the stars. Like I didn't really know. I wasn't on a healing journey at all. I wasn't even aware of my traumas. I wasn't really aware of like, you kind of get hit with, at some point in your life, you get hit with things where it tells you like, okay, it's time to deal with your shit, right? Your ego, your daddy issues, like whatever you got going on, like you got to deal with it. Yeah. And so you had told me, oh, there's this thing ayahuasca. And like, so I feel like you were on your journey a little bit before I was. And I was like, oh, that must be another drug you just trip hard on or something like that. And I was like, my mind wasn't open to it then. But then later on, I came back to Vegas. I had my baby. And for whatever reason, you guys know, if you watched the first episode, kind of how my trauma started to come out, how I started getting triggered. I literally developed PTSD. It came out after quarantine, after I got coronavirus. My dog passed away. My brother-in-law passed away. There was a lot of things. So I remembered that you had said this ayahuasca is very healing, and it's this plant medicine, and we're given to connect and to look deep within ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so you were pivotal in me going and doing that. And I didn't know if you wanted to share, how did you get introduced to ayahuasca and how did that impact you?
So I would say I'm surrounded by really special people, very spiritual friends that have also healed through their pain and trauma. And I remember it was 2019 and I felt lost, and I felt like, okay, I can't be in LA anymore. Like it just doesn't serve me anymore. These people, this thing. And I felt like, okay, I want to be a mom one day, but how am I going to be a mom if I have all these demons? Like demons that people may never know because I may never talk about them, but I had them. And I was like, I need to change. And there's a pattern that keeps repeating in different relationships and friendships and blah, blah. So there's something that I have to do inside of me in order to be a good mom and a good daughter and a good sister and a good friend. So I was like, I kept hearing about ayahuasca and it always been so scary. But there was just one, it was introduced to me by one of my best friends. And she said, this is a really special tribe if you want to try it and if it's calling you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I felt. I just felt like I was ready for a change. Mm-hmm. And I did it 2 nights in a row. And I had a crazy 2 nights. A very healing experience. It felt like the first night was like a rebirth of myself, becoming just this different person and also healing trauma, not only from my past, but from my mother's, my aunts, like everybody, all the females that have been in my life that have been hurt. That's insane. I was healing for them through me. So it was the most painful thing in the world. And I felt like I was in hell. And then sometimes I would feel like I was in heaven and it was blissful, but then I would go back to hell and I was giving birth to myself again. It sounds crazy, but after this, I was able to like let go of a lot of those demons, and a lot of it was over partying and drug use and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was able to let go of that, and I feel like I'm a much healthier person. I make a lot better choices in my life.
You do. You're like the mom of the group. She tells me, hey,
that's the second time I've heard.
No, but you are, because like you'll be like,
I like being the mama bear.
Don't really need to do that, but you can if you want. Like she's very non-judgmental, but she's like, you don't need to do that, which is funny because we obviously partied like crazy before. So
yeah,
but yeah,
I just wanted to be a more healthy overall person and be good for my baby. And
yeah. And it's just like, I think it
was life-changing for sure.
It's amazing. It's crazy that you healed so many like traumas in one situation. My first night, I was only able to do the one ceremony. I had 4 blocked out. I could only do the one. It was so intense. Like you said, heaven and hell, different periods were like super intense. And it's crazy that they say 10 years of healing in one night, because it's really that. Like you could go to talk to your therapist all day long, every day for 10 years, and you're never going to get the same introspective, like looking at your soul, looking at how you look at other people, looking, like you said, your shadows, your demons. Like nobody wants to look at that part of themselves. No part of the day you're like, you're putting your makeup on. You're not like trying to look how ugly you are, you know, like you're not doing that. So I don't know how I would have done that work. I really don't know. I've always kind of, I don't have run from my problems is the right phrase, but I run from things that have hurt me. And I stay away from them. I avoid them. So I wasn't on a path to do that. I wasn't trying to do scary things. I wasn't trying to do painful things. And I didn't know. The thing that this ayahuasca taught me is that sometimes you have to do the painful, scary thing to heal, which seems opposite. You would think, oh, I should avoid the thing that hurts me so that I don't hurt. No, you actually have to go through the pain to not feel the pain. It seems so backwards, but it actually works that way. Yeah. And so now I try, even when I did those ceremonies, I try to use that as like a life lesson that like, okay, if I'm trying to avoid this, whatever this pain I'm going into now, okay, maybe there's a lesson in this pain. So let me like settle into it or try to like deal with it, or instead of always distract out of it or always avoid it, let me sit with it.
Yes.
And I learned that lesson.
Yes.
Through this scary aspect. And then we did a really healing one in July of 2022. I feel like that was a little lighter. Like we weren't as like taken out back.
It was still a lot,
but it was heavy. We were crying a lot. It was heavy. I mean, the ceremony is heavy. It is clearing out, trauma. It's clearing out things. It makes you reface things and sad memories, bad memories, things about yourself you might not like. But we were there for each other, and we were holding each other's hand, and it was really special. And it's like, I would, now that I've done it in twice, and I've done it in a healing way. The first time I didn't really have someone I loved next to me. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, wow, I could see myself doing that for someone again in the future. Like if any of my friends or sisters needed that journey, even though, I do believe that we should wait till the medicine calls us if it's the right time in our life. For sure. But I see, because we did it together, that bond that we shared, I could do that for someone else now Whereas before I was like, I'm fucking scared.
It definitely brought us more together for sure. But they always say ayahuasca is like jumping off a cliff and saying, all right, I trust you that I'm not going to die at the end of this.
Yeah.
But I'm terrified.
It's definitely terrifying. I don't want to downplay that at all. It is terrifying. But like, I looked over and you had a lot of, you were still at peace at moments. There's times where obviously both of us are going through it and we're like, are you okay? But then there's other times where, like, I could see that you're facing it and you're leaning into it, and that you know that you're healing. Even if you're in pain, you're trying to heal. And that's the part that I really respect when people do this, because all of us have these issues, right? Whether they're micro traumas, unknown traumas, shadows, whatever, we all have these things. I think we can benefit from seeing ourselves in this way and trying to heal and trying to do the work. And like, I looked up to you because you did the work and you kind of helped me do the work, you know? Like, I remember that week I was going to back out.
I know, I felt like you were.
I literally was like, oh my God, I haven't done the diet right. I have all these reasons to not go. I'm super fucking scared. And then you're just like,
I was kind of scared too, but I was like, all right, if I back out, she's going to back out.
You seemed way more,
the whole thing.
You seemed way more strong and courageous. Like, I didn't know until the day of that you told me that you were scared, that I was like, thank God I didn't know. Because then I would have really backed out. Like, let's go. Let's both leave this place. We don't need this. Yeah. But no, it's crazy. It really does. It's a hard reset. It's a
very hard reset. It's not for everyone, I don't think. But if you really want to face your traumas and have something like, I don't want to say instantly work, but it works. Like,
hard reset.
Unless you got if you're a very avoidant person, which can happen.
Then your heart.
Some people that don't want to open their traumas, they just want to.
Their heart will be kind of closed to it, and they won't really receive anything. I've seen that happen to people actually in their ceremonies. So you have to really be open to receiving that. But wow, okay, we went through a lot of things. We have so many things always to talk about. What else do you want to chat about or tell us? Like, I mean, I don't know. We're best friends, so we could talk. We could talk forever.
You want to talk about the masculine and feminine
energy. That's actually a good one. That has
been going around on Instagram.
Let's do it. Let's do the masculine feminine energy, because I think you and I, we definitely put out. Well, I do. I put out masculine vibes.
I do too. Nice. I definitely do too. Even though I'm like girly and I dress whatever. I've always, like I said, I've been pushed into this masculine, you gotta be super hyper focused and super hyper hustle and make all this money and blah, blah, blah. But I think probably within the last maybe 6 months to a year, I've been really trying to step into my feminine and be more womanly and loving and open and kind. And that goes for everybody. Even like my mom will trigger me a bunch because we're like the same. She annoys me, then I annoy her.
Feisty Latina.
And then I'm like, I snap at her, and then she snaps at me, or like, and then I'm like, I'm sorry, you know. But it's like these relationships, I want to be softer, I want to be kinder, I want to be more open, loving, because that's what women are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be this hard, rigid, on edge.
Right. Well, I think that's the hard thing for us, because we had to survive. Like, okay, let's go. We have daddy issues. I'm not gonna get into them, but we have them, right? You know, and having an absent father presence has an impact upon everyone, males and females, but definitely daughters. And so that's been our journey, is trying to save ourselves and survive in a very dog-eat-dog world. On top of that, you grew up in the limelight. That's another dog-eat-dog world. So it's like, okay, I have to survive. I have to rise above. I have to use all these things to make myself so strong. If someone's not here to protect and provide for me, I have to protect and provide for myself. Yeah. So we learned that, and we've been like on this train for so long. It's like, wait a minute, like that's an aggressive way. It's an aggressive way to live. We have to aggressively fight for the right contracts, you know, this, that, lawyers, attorneys, like it's very male dominated energy. And, you know, so we're like, okay, like it's good to hustle, but can we also like chill? And I think that was good to have the babies, because that made us tune into our motherly nature instinct, was, oh, I can be soft. I can just sit here and rock a baby. That's all I can do. That's great. Like, I don't have to like.
That was something to get used to as well, is like when you're with a baby, like it's almost like Groundhog Day. It's like the same thing over and over. How am I going to play with this baby? How am I going to entertain them? What do we do today? Go for a walk? Okay, we went for a walk yesterday. It's very repetitive, but you learn how to just be. Like there's a saying, just be, just be. just be present, just be with your baby, just be doing the dishes, just be washing your hair. Instead, we're like, okay, I gotta hurry because I gotta go here, here, here. And it's just like learning how to just be present is one of my biggest lessons, I think, in the last year.
Yeah.
Because again, like I felt this rush to get back into that person who I was a while ago, and I'm like, I'm changing, I'm growing, and that's okay. Every stage of my life is going to be different, and it's going to look different, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be that sexy chick from UFC.
Yeah. I mean, you still are, but yes, I felt the same pressure too. Cause like, you know, I have OnlyFans too. I really struggled to even know if I should do that. Cause like, am I putting myself in this box that people are going to think, oh, she's just a sex pod or whatever, which it doesn't, it is a feminine energy. It is something that we can use and enjoy. But it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to just do that to myself, because what if I want to have more babies, or what if I want to just let go of certain parts of my life that I don't need in the future, you know, and sometimes if we set ourselves up for that, we feel like we have to keep staying on this train. Okay, I have to keep getting sponsorships. I have to keep, you know, making people happy. I have to keep walking around in a bikini, and everyone's got to like my body. And, you know, we set it, you know, in some ways we set ourselves up for that, but in some ways it's good to pivot and find ways that you don't need that. You know, like you said, sitting with stillness, enjoying yourself, enjoying the boring moments, enjoying the dull and they're not always dull or boring, but they are in comparison to constant like attention and new things. So that, I definitely have to sit with stillness too. For sure. That's our next
slow down
ceremony.
Yeah.
We've done several fun ceremonies. We've done like our shadow work.
Yeah.
We've done like rage. That's a little topic for later, but you know, you guys all have it in there. Don't pretend like you don't have rage.
Yeah, we all have it.
We all have it. It's in there. So we should do something with it. We learned in that, I think in that ceremony, we learned to channel it. Like that you have, it doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be bad. It can be like, I think what was she saying? You channel it into like creativity.
Yeah,
you can like
sit with it and use it in a positive light for creativity, and you feel it coming up. Take a deep breath and like think before you react, and it was very cool.
Yeah, it was cool. You brought me to all those ceremonies, so now I'm super spiritual and I know how to like do all the spiritual things. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on our show. We could talk forever, and this is super fun. And I love you. I love you so much, and I'll have you back again. Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for tuning in, and check out Arianny Celeste. Go check out her Airbnbs and all her beautiful photos and her gorgeous son, Raiden. We love Raiden.
Thank you.
Okay.
We love him.